And now, a thought from Mann. You know, Disney, it's difficult to like you. In terms of your television content, your movies are great, excluding some other things. But it's just so difficult because you sort of try with some of your TV shows, but then most of the time you don't really put any effort in. And I find it amazing. It's like, I mean, what the hell is Billy Dilley's Super-Duper Subterranean Summer? What the fuck is this? Like, I look at this and I'm like, this doesn't look like a Disney show. This looks like some bullshit that you put on just because why the hell not? We need to fill up some time slots. Oh, God.
That's me, Billy Dilley.
The main premise, like anyone really gives a shit, is about this fat kid who enjoys science who has a science fair project that goes haywire and sends him and his friends Zeke and Marcia into the subterranean level of the Earth. There they find that there's a whole world down there that's very weird and crazy and all that jazz, but honestly, you just don't give a shit as you watch it. Cause it's like, it's weird, it's wacky, it's stupid, like great, but what makes it interesting? Nothing. It's just randomness. Everything they find is just fucking random. Nothing makes sense. I mean, at least with Amazing World of Gumball, the shit's random, but it's at least funny or interesting random. Here it's just, here's some weird crazy shit for the sake of crazy shit. Like, what? That's not funny. That's not entertaining. Oh my god, man. It's like, come on. Try here, damn it. Try. There's nothing really pleasant about this world. The characters don't make me want to stay here and find out what happens with them. So ultimately, I'm just thinking, why should I care? This place looks awful. These people look awful. This show is awful. Ugh. The show is created by Aaron Springer, and I'm just honestly shocked. This man has an amazing, and I mean amazing, track record. He's written for shows like Samurai Jack, Dexter's Laboratory, SpongeBob, Wander Over Yonder. He created fucking Korgoth. In fact, the style of this show seems very reminiscent of Korgoth. And honestly, I think that's what works against it, because Korgoth is just bloody violence. It's very stupid, bloody violence. So for them to try and turn that into a kid show, I'm like, it doesn't work. This clearly should not be a kid show. His style just says this doesn't belong on Disney. Honestly, I really admit that. It just feels like this just doesn't fit in with anything that Disney's done. Hell, right now Kapow honestly feels a bit more Disney-esque than this. And that show really looks worse than this, I'll admit that.
Nice going, dude.
The main character, Billy, he is just too fucking annoying. I mean, god damn it. That voice is ear-bleedingly grating, dude.
It's fascinating.
It just pisses me off every time I hear him. The main problem is that it sounds like that mocking voice you do when you want to make someone look stupid. It's like, hey, I'm Billy Dilley. I like science. I'm going to the subterranean level. Like, oh my god, who thought this should be a voice? This is fucking annoying. Like, this shouldn't be a main character. He could be like an antagonist character who pisses everybody off and messes with everybody's day. Fine. That's perfectly fine. But here, as the main hero? No, he can't be. He's too fucking annoying. Then you have his friends Marcia and Zeke, who honestly don't add much. They're sort of just using him as a means to an end. Well, they were, mainly that they needed a science partner and stuff like that, and they ended up getting dragged down with him. So it's just like, really? These are the characters I have to follow? They're not interesting. They're not funny. They're just stupid. All three of them, they're just plain stupid. Oh. One other big problem is that Billy's supposed to be some sort of genius. And it's like, how? I don't see a genius. I see an idiot. This guy is just way too stupid. It's not like Dexter's Lab or Jimmy Neutron, where they're geniuses and they prove that they know what they're doing. It's just sometimes some circumstance kind of messes things up, or some idiot comes along and messes things up. Here it's more like he's the one messing things up. Like, really? I mean, sure, Jimmy and Dexter messed things up themselves, but that was more of a mistake on their part. They felt bad about it, obviously, and usually it's just on the lines of they didn't really know too much better because they were still kids. Here, it's more like, he's too stupid. I get it, he's a kid, but he's way too stupid. The mistakes he makes are just more on the lines of obvious mistakes. At least with Dexter and Jimmy, it's more of a, you wouldn't really know that was a mistake until after the mistake has happened. I'm just not really getting this show at all.
Oh, why?
Okay.
The animation, it's just inconsistent. 1 minute it moves smoothly enough, and then randomly it'll go to 2 frames per second, and it's just like, why are you doing that? There's like no real reason for you to be cutting to 2 frames per second like that. And then there's even some animation inconsistencies, like randomly one character's face will get bigger. I'm just like, what the hell's going on there? It's just like, what are you doing, Disney? Like, you're cutting corners here. I mean, sure, it doesn't look as bad as Pickle and Peanut. I will give it that much. But still, it's not excusable. Just being a little bit better than Pickle and Peanut, that's not really that difficult to do. Any show could be better than Pickle and Peanut. Come on, man.
Just great.
The humor is very random and not in a good way. It tries to use the idea of misery, because, you know, comedy derives from some form of misery. But it doesn't work here because when someone gets hurt and it's supposed to be a funny moment, it doesn't feel funny because the person doesn't feel that hurt. Like, sure, there's one time I laughed at Billy getting hurt by this one guy who was annoying because, you know, he deserved to get hurt there. He was being annoying.
An ancient subterranean species. Most likely if the
Now, see here, you!
Oh,
There you are, Billy!
oh, hey guys, just, familiarizing myself with these,
Dorks!
But at other times, when Billy gets hurt, it just feels like he just walks it off. He just gets up and is like, whatever. I'm like, that doesn't work. He has to be miserable from that. He has to look hurt. Like, you just don't play it off right. That's just kind of my big gripe, is that if you're gonna use comedy and use the idea of misery, you have to do it right. And you don't do it right here. This just irks me, man. It just really irks me that you got something so simple as this wrong.
You're forgetting the most important component of any successful pillow. Billy Dilley. Wait up, guys!
This honestly is not the worst show Disney has put out. I easily admit that, but god damn it, it's still disappointing because it's like, you're not really trying, Disney. Like, it gets annoying when you don't try. It really irks me because it's like, you guys put out such amazing stuff. You can. And yet, you still choose to say no. Let's cut some corners. Let's be lazy. Like, why? The best I can say about this show is it's not as bad as Pickle and Peanut, but it's still nowhere near good. It's still a pretty bad show. I can't fake like it's anywhere decent. I mainly say what's gonna happen is that it's mainly gonna be hated by few, loved by few, but most people are gonna be very indifferent to it. It's just gonna be background noise, and that's just what I think is gonna happen to it. And that's just kind of disappointing considering Aaron Springer's track record. I mean, this guy worked on so many good shows, and yet this is what we get when he finally gets his own? I mean, honestly, maybe it's just a bit of studio meddling, you know? They saw how Uncle Grandpa was this crazy, weird, wacky show, and just thought, maybe we can do that, but just make the character more annoying and stupid. It clearly tries to be that middleman of gross and clean, and it's just like, you're not really gonna pull that off too well. It's either you're gonna go with the gross or you're gonna go with the clean. Some can maybe try to pull that off, like Loud House, but even then, the gross is kind of set aside and it's not really focused on. So here, it's just like, no, we don't want the middleman. Stop trying to be a middleman here. Oh, all I can say is this. Please, please be good, DuckTales. Oh God. But that's just a thought.
We're gonna tell nobody so you can rock the